Welcome to Clash of Health. Thanks for being here today. It is January 7th, 2025. I have an Akashic weather report. I just wanted to preface it by saying that I think that my way of going into the Akash and putting out these videos might be in some ways unique to how other people go into the Akashic records. And I just want to throw this out there just so you don't have the supposition that this is how it's done, because this is how it's done by me. And so I go into the Akash, I just open the Akash through an invocation and I just sit and get information. But instead of just taking in the information, I often like go literally into the records and animate the situation with however it feels like it's being animated or I'm being animated. So it's almost like I become this conduit of this record information and I become part of the play, so to speak, of the information I get in the past, present, and future, or supposed future, possible future. So I just wanted to add that because it could be confusing when you hear about the Akashic records or how other people get information. It might come through very differently. It might not come through as so collective and also, I guess, so shamanic. The way I interact is kind of unique in its own right, if that makes sense. So what was cool about today's message is it was particularly animating. And also I finished this, I can't know if you can see it, but the notebook, I started writing in this notebook. I have a whole bunch of notebooks, but this one started back in May and it's complete today. So I'll have to get another notebook as I continue. So here's the message. The path to freedom needs to be followed by thread bearers. Clouds of smoke showed, and then there was like a poof in the middle, and I could see the clear sky between. It will take a pilgrimage of faith to have this visual of a clear sky. Light workers will be needed to make this happen, and nothing can be happenstance. I see a network of like old-fashioned dolls in the picture, and then again, excuse me, the seven dwarfs. Hi ho, it's off to work we go. And again, some people liken the seven dwarfs to like the chakras. Then I saw a black sky and then the word forlorn, forbearance. And I looked up some of the definitions of those words to see which one most made sense for what I felt when I saw that. And the word forlorn seemed to kind of go with hopelessness, and forbearance came through to me as more of like patience. I scrambled up a ladder and the night sky scene, and I was getting a transmission of love. So I got this transmission of love as I was looking at the night sky. And then I saw this particularly bright star, which is Aldebaran. And Aldebaran is likened to be a star that reflects Archangel Michael. And then I saw a scene from the Holy Family, and just looked at the scene. And then I went down like the chute, almost like chutes and ladders. So it was like instead of the ladder, I was going down the chute. And it was very like visceral. Like I could feel like the back of my legs, kind of getting like not injured, but feeling it as I'm going down the chute in time. And it was disorienting. And I landed and I'm like, where am I? And it was Jerusalem. And I see it's the ancient past, it's ancient times. And I go into this building and it's a synagogue and there's a rabbi there. He's got a beard and he's hurried and he's kind of rushed and he gives me this book, which is like a scroll or papyrus. And he's like, here, take it with you. So I do, I take it out and I leave and I thank him. And it's a manuscript of time and what's next, I'm told. And then written in Hebrew, which was, I don't know if it was Hebrew, but it was symbols, not words. It was like these symbols that I was looking at. And the word alchemy was one of the symbols. And then yellow fever came up. How did it start? Look it up. And then I saw like an animal. And I got a sense that I needed to look this up, so I did. And yellow fever, I was like, did it spread from animals? And apparently it could have spread from like monkeys and mosquitoes in Africa. And then it came to the United States with the slave trade. So then I see after that the yellow fever, and to look it up, I saw this donkey, and like he had there was a saddle on him, and then there was like a saddlebag area, and then in that was another book, or maybe the same book. And so I took it out, or I was handed it, and then I saw stars again, and then boop, right into my forehead, this branding, it was the word branding, of the Star of David came up on my forehead. And then I saw the words, "We the people of the Constitution." So it's kind of interesting. And then I feel like my throat chakra is being attacked at this point. Like I'm being kind of attacked. And I looked at before that, before I felt like I was being attacked, I looked to see who was with the the donkey, and all I could see was like a circle and like um spikes, almost like a star and a sun together, merged as one. And so then I go back, when I felt like I was being attacked, I just kind of like naturally left the scene and was back, just sitting in spacious awareness, so to speak, which is kind of cool because space is ether, which is the Akash. But anyway, I'm in spacious awareness on my meditation pillow. I'm taken from this scene with the donkey, and then the rabbi comes to me, and I felt like he was sitting across from me. He was a guy from the synagogue, and I wondered who he was, and I was told he's a messenger of the Lord. And then these words came through. All would fear thyself if they could actually see what was inside of them. Are you ready to see? And I said, yes. So it's almost like what came through to me was we hold everything in us. We hold every dark entity outside of us potentially in us. Like everything that another human can show, we have it in us, or maybe anything beyond humanity. Like we have that capacity imbued within us. And then so I look at I'm told like page 17, I go back to the scene with the donkey, and I was given the number 17, page 17. All those among us are free. There are no wrong answers. Freedom lies within. And I want to put the book back in with the donkey, and I'm told, no, you keep the book. You keep it with you. I'm told it's the Dead Sea Scrolls, Enrich Your Life, and then Malachi, the book of Malachi in the Bible, which is kind of cool because apparently the book of Malachi is the last chapter in the last testament before the New Testament starts. So then I looked up, well, let me see what I can find on Malachi number 17, and this is what I found on the internet with the AI overview. In this verse, the Lord is reproved for being tired of people's words. The verse says, "You have wearied the Lord with your words," but you say, "How have we wearied him?" By saying, "Everyone who does evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delights in them," or by asking, "Where is the God of justice?" And then the next one I found was, which is bundled together, by AI was Malachi 3:17. In this verse, the Lord Almighty says, "On the day when I act, they will be my treasured possessions. I will spare them, just as a father has compassion and spares his son who serves him." So that's just kind of beautiful. It just likens to the forgiving nature of God, which goes along with the message here: all among us are free. There are no wrong answers. Freedom lies within. And let's see. So I get on the donkey at this point. The donkey is going slow like a donkey, but it's also like a horse that's going really fast. I felt like I was like 3D, 5D between going fast and slow. And then I'm taken to um, it was interesting. It was almost like a scene from the Bible where there was literally a gate and there's people. I'm outside the gate. So I read some books about, well, anyway, I won't get into that, but I'm outside the gate. I'm looking in. It's like the time of I don't know, I think it was like the New Testament or the Old Testament or the New Testament around that time period, and the chasm between one and the other. And I'm looking at the people, and they're just going about their business. They're hustling and bustling and moving about. But interspersed between them were like demonic figures. And so I'm just looking at this, and it looks just like life, basically, like three-dimensional life back then, no different in many ways than we have our lives now. But I see these caricatures of demonic figures between the people, almost like the shadow, so to speak. And I'm told that this is the gates of hell. So I'm on the other side of the gates, and there's a homeless person there. And I sit down with this homeless person, and he's a holy man. So I actually had to redo this video because I got crying when I could feel viscerally this holy person from this scene. I started over this video. So hopefully you're feeling what I was feeling when I started discussing him. But anyway, through his, I don't know, through his wisdom, I was able to go into the earth through time and space, and just I was like flying at this point. I was going through the stratosphere just very far, and I'm seeing stars, and I try to grab one. I'm like, when is this going to end? I keep flying, flying, and they're like, just keep going, keep going, keep flowing, keep flowing. Don't try to grab anything, don't try to stop. And then eventually I do stop, and I come to this kingdom, and it's the future not yet built. And I'm outside of this future, and I'm handed a key. And I go, and there's this beautiful water, this clear water. It's golden. Everything looks beautiful. Excuse me. I see these white beings, like this white masculine figure and a white feminine figure, and they're pretty impersonal. I mean, they just feel like these beings, but maybe it's like the shadow of the future, so to speak. And we go to this fountain of youth. It's called the Fountain of Youth. It's this like waterfall, and it feels energizing. And I'm given the message there'll be no decay and no death. And just like this, I see this fruit. It's like an eggplant. And I realize I'm in the Garden of Eden. And yes. And then I question if I should eat the fruit. And then I see these eyes in darkness. So everywhere there's eyes. Like the scene goes away and there's just these eyes everywhere. And I'm given a cord, and I go back to the room where I'm sitting, and the records are now closed. And I realize where we started is where we will end and begin. So that's today's message. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did speaking it. When I'm experiencing it, I see no cohesion in what I'm getting. And then when I put it out there, I see this beautiful cohesion of what I got. So hopefully you see it in the same way. Have a good day.